Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to another fantasy football video. Game week 3 is over and it is time for game week 4. Game week 3, average points 43. I don't think many people had a good week this week. I really didn't think I had until last night made it a little bit better thanks to the Liverpool game. But before we take a look at my team and what I'm going to do for this week, let's take a look at our league. Down at the bottom here you can see me. I am in place 462 in the league and actually got a green arrow. As I say, after Sunday night I was on a big red arrow, but thankfully a few extra points last night kind of kept me in it. So nice to see a green arrow. Also nice to see some people down the bottom here who have just joined the league this week. Ashley out, Tony, Genong, Lil Barker. Thank you for joining the league. Remember, if you haven't yet, be sure to do so. The code will be on screen for you. And as always, if we take a scroll up through the league here, basically, if you were on this top page, you are having a good one. I'm just trying to see some good scores here. 71 for Tom there. 72 for Abra. Let's go up to the top. So in second place we have Angela's Ashes, who was in first place last week. So a 40-point game week has brought her down to second place, and in top position now we have free HK Gunners Jerry with 85 points. Wow, that was the highest on this top page. So well done to you, Jerry. Let's take a look at what you did with your team to get all of those points. As I say, the average was 43. Martinez, you know what it is? Martinez has been doing a pretty good job since his move to Aston Villa. 13.6 points. You know, you wouldn't expect an Aston Villa goalkeeper to be pulling that much in, but they are. Dallas with a good clean sheet for Leeds. Bruno Fernandes captain. You see that is one of the big things this week. De Bruyne, most selected captain this week, got no points. So putting in Bruno Fernandes is a really good shout. And VARDY as well. I mean, VARDY wasn't even on the radar for most of us, and all of a sudden he comes out and gets 17 points, hat-trick against Man City. Bamford getting on the score sheet again. What is his price now? He's up to, is that 5.7 he's up to now? I think it's even higher than that. But yes, well done to my guy Jerry, number 1 in the league. Let's move on, unfortunately, and see what my team did this week. So I say unfortunately, 53 points I don't think is actually that bad in the end. I did get a green arrow. I did get better than the average. A couple of decisions made this week stopped me from doing better than I could have. McCarthy with a clean sheet for Southampton, I'll take it. Alexander-Arnold pulling in an assist and 3 bonus points, so nice to see him pulling something in, because he's a very expensive defender and we haven't seen too much of him. Doherty, 2 points again. His price has actually gone down now, and unfortunately it doesn't surprise me. 2 points, 0 points, 2 points. It's saying 6 million there. Oh no, there it is. 5.9. Very frustrating. Fernandes, I had him. He got 12 points. I actually captained Salah, who got 10. Wilson got a very last second goal against Spurs. Werner did nothing again. Mitro did nothing. I was quite surprised. I thought Fulham taking on Aston Villa would have meant for some points for Mitro, but it wasn't the case. Now, you might have noticed, I put Podence in. At the final hour, my one transfer last week, I decided to go for Sterling over De Bruyne. Was it the right move or not? We don't know yet, because neither of them did anything this week against Leicester. And one of the big reasons I did it was because Sterling was still 11.5 million. De Bruyne was 11.6 million, because the price changes are going up so quick. I've had so much trouble with it this year, and I'm not surprised if other people have as well. With that 0.5, I upgraded at the final hour. I took a 4-point hit. I put Podence in for Souček. Souček went on to get an assist for West Ham, and Podence didn't even play. So not only did I lose 4 points for the transfer, I also lost technically 4 extra points for making that change. So I could have been 8 points better off. But yeah, this is why you shouldn't just throw hits around like nothing. You should take your time with them. But thankfully Johnston came on for West Ham, got some time, so at least I got an extra point even if Podence didn't play. I've already seen a lot of people using the wild card this week. I did say last week that I would not argue people using the wild card, and let me know down below if you did use your wild card last week. I decided not to, and looking at some people's wild cards, you look at the Wolves fixtures, the game against West Ham, losing 4-0, taking on Fulham now, Leeds, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace. Wolves have got a very decent list of fixtures. I think a lot of people put in Wolves players and they blanked and got no points at all, which I think is possibly a big reason why the average is so low this week. So let me know what you did do. As I say, I decided not to use my wild card last week, and I think basically because I didn't use it last week, we've got game week 4 this week, and then we have a 2-week period for the international break. And I do just think that you don't know what is going to happen over this 2-week break. I'm just going to hold off, and I'm going to give it another week and then look at using my wild card on the return to football after the international break. I haven't even mentioned it. I have already made my transfer. You might have spotted it. And that transfer is Jimenez. Took Werner out, put in Jimenez. It seemed like a good idea at the time, mostly based on the fact that literally the games were on Saturday. Chelsea played on Saturday against West Brom. Literally, as that Chelsea game was ending and Werner hadn't scored, I took him out and I put in Jimenez. Sold Werner for 9.5, put Jimenez in for 8.5, and literally by Sunday morning Werner was down to 9.4 and Jimenez was up to 8.6. So the price changes have made it much more difficult this year. But I've made that transfer. Obviously I did that transfer before watching them against Wolves. If I'd seen that, then maybe I could have gone for Danny Ings taking on West Brom, same price as Jimenez, and Danny Ings has actually been scoring goals. I'm pretty sure he got one. He did against Burnley. So was it a rushed transfer to put Jimenez in? Maybe, but as I say, they do have a really good set of fixtures, and he's even a possible captaincy choice this weekend, taking on Fulham, who have conceded a fair few goals since returning to the Premier League. A quick whiz through what I would potentially do with my wild cards. I just think that Doherty, for the price I've paid for him, is not playing that role that he played at Wolves. Tottenham are playing with a back 4. He hasn't got the license to get forward like he did at Wolves. So I just think for that price, he's no longer worth it. Alexander-Arnold is a funny one because 7.5 million is so expensive, but we've just seen him pick up an assist and 3 bonus points in the last game, and that was against Arsenal. What can he do against Aston Villa? So as much as he had been useless, and well, I say useless, as much as he didn't pick up many points from the first few games, seeing a game like that does make me think I should keep him in. I'm going to keep Mitchell in. He's very cheap and he's getting a game for Crystal Palace. In terms of my midfield and strike force, I think the guys you want at the minute are Jimenez, Ings, Calvert-Lewin. Now, obviously, Vardy's made a bit of a name for himself after getting his hat-trick against Man City, but has picked up a potential knock, so I think some people may not go for him, although I do think he will be ready for this weekend. And then in midfield, this is the thing, if I was able to take Doherty out, if I took out Alexander-Arnold, maybe I could put Aubameyang back in, or maybe even get De Bruyne and Sterling in together. But seeing how they played against Leicester, who knows? This is the thing, I just think that after 3 weeks, no one had even spoken about Vardy. and then all of a sudden he's got 3 goals, and it would not surprise me if a lot of people have put him in. Yeah, he's the 4th most put in player. Bamford's still scoring goals. Calvert-Lewin has obviously been fantastic. This is a change that I could potentially look at coming back from the international break. I do now have $1 million in the bank because I downgraded from Werner to Jimenez. I could upgrade Wilson to Calvert-Lewin, possibly. So, yeah, as I say, I think a lot of things are changing. We're only 3 weeks in, and the patterns just haven't quite emerged yet. We are still looking at the patterns. And again, this is why I kind of held off on the wild card. And I do think if you didn't use your wild card in game week 3, holding off again in game week 4 probably isn't a bad idea. I just think if you go in all guns blazing now and stick in all the players that you want, and then it's the international break, who knows what's going to happen in that 2-week period. People do say that prices go up in the international break, which again is possible, and it's been really tough for price changes this year. But for me, I've made my transfer, I've done it early. Hopefully Jimenez can reward me for that, and then see how Sterling and De Bruyne do this week against Leeds. If Sterling comes out with a hat-trick, when I do use my wild card, I'll leave Sterling in. If Sterling does nothing and De Bruyne scores a goal and scores a penalty, then I'm wild carding it, and I'm like, right, okay, I've tried Sterling, but I think De Bruyne is going to be the main man, and I can change it. I just think after 3 weeks to kind of completely overhaul my team might be a little bit early. So I'm going to give it 1 more week. As I say, returning from the international break, we'll give it a go. But as I say, let me know what you're going to do. Are you going to just make that 1 change? Are you going to take a hit to get 2 changes in for this week? The 2 hits that I've done so far this season have not worked out well, so be sure to always think about it before you put it in. If you are going to wildcard, are you going to go for that Ings, Jimenez, Calvert-Lewin? I think the thing is just stick all 3 of them in and just leave them all season, because I think they will get goals. Will Vardy get more? Possibly. But for price-wise, to have all 3 of them in your forward line, I just don't think you can argue, and that gives you that little bit of extra money to spend in that midfield. I've got Podence in there. They reckon it's only a slight knock, so this is the thing. Do I take the hit to put someone else in? I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to leave it this week. I'm going to hope that he plays, and if he doesn't, we'll come back and we'll wild card and do something in 3 weeks' time after the international break. So yeah, that is it for me. As I say, let me know what you did this week down below. What were your points like? Did you wild card and did it all go horribly wrong? Even if it did and you filled up on Wolves players, they've still got a Fulham game this week, so I would imagine they're going to sort themselves out for that. You'd hope. But yeah, as I say, thank you for watching. As always, drop a like if you are enjoying these fantasy football videos. Be sure to subscribe if you are new. And fingers crossed we can have an improvement on an average of 43 points this week. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.